So Larry Fink's approved the bull run. Moody's has cut the US's outlook. Gold is dead. The Chinese bank shut down the other day. It was pretty interesting how they went out. Something interesting tying into that with Optus here in Australia, who's our mobile phone network. So we'll dive into all that straight away. Let's bring up Larry Fink. The real reason, got a lot to get through today. This is the news with the fast facts. The real reason behind BlackRock boss Larry Fink's sudden love of Bitcoin, he's turned into Bitcoin's marketing manager. Obviously, he has filed for an ETH ETF, and doing that as well just confirms that the Bitcoin bull run is on. We'll dive into it. Here's what Larry has to say. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink attributed Bitcoin's rise to a flight to quality, but the asset has other things going for it, he said, in 2020. So this is diving back quite a long way, capturing the imagination. After notoriously referring to Bitcoin as a means for money laundering, Fink changed his tune in 2020 when he stated the top cryptocurrency had caught the attention and the imagination of many people. So slow and steady. That's how they work with this propaganda. One of my important investors was on a television show in the last few days. Take note of where he said this. He spoke about Bitcoin monetary policy and C19. Fink said during a keynote session, of all places, at the Council on Foreign Relations at the start of the pandemic. Obviously, Larry Fink is probably the single most powerful individual in the world. There's very little. China and the US are the only things bigger than BlackRock. So as a private corporation, it's pretty interesting for him to be speaking at the Council on Foreign Relations and talking about Bitcoin there all the way back in 2020. Imagine the conversations that go on behind closed doors that we don't get to take note of. So the hits on BlackRock's website were 3,000 on C19, 3,000 on monetary policy, and 600,000 hits on Bitcoin. That's crazy, hey? That's the power of Bitcoin. It is exponential technology, and many people are fascinated by it. Many people are excited about it. Fast forward to 2023, and BlackRock's iShare unit has filed an application to launch its own spot Bitcoin ETF. The effort to draw in young money come as a generational shift in wealth from baby boomers to millennials, referred to by some commentators the great wealth transfer, may put billions of dollars in the hands of younger investors in the coming years. If that is you, study Bitcoin, not your keys, not your cheese. You really want to be able to hold the keys to your Bitcoin. We can get into that a little bit later. But BlackRock, are they good or bad? They are what they are. G'day to everyone watching, lurking in the chat. They just want money. They want to make commission, so they are going to pump Bitcoin. And the reason why this is verified now, and it's not just everyone within Bitcoin getting excited, BlackRock, they have put in for an ETP with ETH, spot ETH. And while personally I don't care about ETH, it is a good sign that they're so confident that they will get a positive ruling for the Bitcoin ETF. And they're really going hammer and tong now and fighting words with the SEC. I've got a couple of videos to play, but we'll get through Larry Fink. It's just amazing the tune that he's taken to become Bitcoin's marketing manager as of late. So BlackRock argues the SEC has no grounds to treat crypto futures and spot ETFs differently. BlackRock questioned the SEC's preference for the 1940 Act that oversees futures ETFs and argued that it lacks relevancy to both crypto spot, crypto futures ETFs. BlackRock has argued the US SEC doesn't have any legitimate reason to treat spot, crypto, and crypto futures ETF applications differently. BlackRock's plan for a spot ETH ETF called the iShares Ethereum Trust was officially confirmed on November 9. And its application, this is where the fighting words start to come out. BlackRock called the SEC's treatment of spot crypto ETFs into question as it asserted that agency bases its reasons for continually denying these applications on incorrect regulatory distinctions between futures and spot ETFs. Given that the Commission has approved ETFs that offer exposure to ETH futures, which themselves are priced based on the underlying spot ETH market, The sponsor believes that the commission must also approve ETPs that offer exposure to spot ETH. They keep going on with their fighting words. They must have not highlighted their BlackRock outlined that as the SEC has approved crypto future ETFs via the CME, it has clearly determined that CME surveillance can detect spot market fraud that would affect spot ETPs. As such, in the firm's eyes, it essentially leaves the SEC with no justifiable reason to reject the application under its current line of thinking. They are fighting words. Absolutely fantastic to see. G'day Crypto Pride in the chat. Everyone lurk. And if you can do us a massive favor and hit the thumbs up, subscribe if we vibe. And let's get in. We've got heaps to cover. Moody's cuts US outlook. Tweet by Sam Callahan. In the context of higher interest rates without effective fiscal policy measures to reduce government spending or increase revenues, Moody expects the US fiscal deficits will remain very large, significantly weakening debt affordability. Moody's cuts US outlook to negative, citing deficits and political polarization. Block height. 816,507 sats per USD, 2,692. It is going down dramatically. USD price 37,141 currently. Local time 5:51 a.m. There's your receipts this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lawrence Lepard and Michael Saylor's pretty funny. Michael Saylor, gold is dead money. Hashtag Bitcoin, negative 3% performance since August 10, 2020, when MicroStrategy adopted its Bitcoin strategy, Bitcoin up 214%. Obviously, the bet Michael Saylor had has paid off well, over $1 billion in profit. That's the power of holding Bitcoin. One thing that really intrigued me with Michael Saylor is everyone's going to call him a genius when he's in profits like that. But he said they're always going to take it a dig at me for buying the top, because he's going to keep buying the top. He's going to continually keep buying, stacking, and whatever price that is, whenever he stops, I think he's just on a mission, and we will go into it more and more, but we are in a debt spiral. So math with Bitcoin is on your side. With fiat currency, it surely is not. And this is what Lawrence had to say in regards to gold. Bitcoin is superior to gold, full stop. Gold is the second best form of sound money. To say gold is dead money depends upon time frame. Measured from January 3rd, 2022, when the S&P peaked and everything bubble burst, different picture. Gold is doing its job, so sideways action there. Pierre Richard, do these vehicles emit CO2? The Dutch Central Bank today revealed it spent months executing an operation to move 15 billion, including 200,000 kilo of bars and coins, requiring police and military support. This would have been 10 minutes plus $3.02 on the Bitcoin standard there. Obviously, we are seeing the adoption of Bitcoin in real time. This is interesting. This is really interesting, and a couple of things we'll get into, but we did talk about that Optus outage the other day, which is the mobile phone carrier here in Australia. 10 million people. As soon as it happened, I did jump on Twitter there. The receipts are there saying, is this a test? A little bit interesting that it just went out. Very similar timing and not days apart from this bank in China where they're trading via USB stick. I wonder if they're trading Bitcoin via USB and they're just seeing the public consciousness there. I'm not buying the fact that there was a random ransomware attack on a Chinese bank that's disrupted yesterday's treasury auction. I smell the beginning of the cyber pandemic, which has been choreographed for years. Stay vigilant out there. Amy Taylor, for any other Australians surrounded by smug smart asking, what happened to Bitcoin yesterday when Optus went down? Not much. How'd you go on accessing all your other banking and payment options using Bitcoin without internet, and why that changes the world? I'll repost that there for you at Sean Clark 911. For that to happen, so this was in Australia, our mobile phone network, and then Chinese bank days apart. Different places around the world, big power outages that affect a huge amount of the population. Interesting that it is going on. Is it a test? The timing is phenomenal. So I've got a couple of videos to get through. We'll race through it. This is flipping back to Larry Fink and BlackRock again, because the bull run is confirmed with all of this news. So let's listen to what he has to say. This is in regards to ETH. I understand it's a poo coin, but with BlackRock going in with Ethereum, it's leading us at least short term into a very bullish positive sentiment. So let's go.
Biggest ones out there. We're talking Bitcoin and Ethereum up massively just over the course of the last week. And Ethereum right now is catching this kind of big bid over the last couple of days, as you can see here, as we get word that the world's biggest asset manager, that is BlackRock, filed to list an ETF backed by spot Ethereum on the NASDAQ exchange at some point. That's stoking some more optimism that markets could see greater access and perhaps institutional liquidity brought on by an exchange-traded product on.
The biggest thing I want to point out there we can ignore is about Ethereum, but it will bring institutional liquidity. We are seeing billions of dollars getting printed with Tether at the moment. New inflows are coming in, and we've got Will Clemente here. For the first time 1.5 years, the 90-day change in stablecoin supplies just flipped positive. This means that we're finally seeing net capital inflows through stablecoins for the first time since the bear market began. Absolutely fantastic to see. The trend is your friend. Boats have spread the Bitcoin brand to million. Today marks the kickoff of spreading Bitcoin awareness and education with the B brand now prominently shining our players' sleeves. Hopefully you can see it there on his shoulder. It can't get any bigger there, but on his sleeve, Boatev's sleeve. It's incredible. This is pretty interesting. So Mary Daly, I believe is her name, this lady here. I'm sure she's kind to animals, but Mary Daly, like all of them, has repeatedly shown herself to be wrong, out of touch and very dangerous to a few hundred million Americans. She is unelected and unaccountable and should have no influence. And this is what she had to say. Fed's Daly. Fed's policy is significantly restrictive. Daly again. Unsure if policy is restricted enough at current settings. Fed's Daly. Fed needs to watch data to drive next rate decision. Daly again. I don't want to discount that the Fed is in a good place for policy. Too early to declare victory. Daly again. I don't want to discount Fed is in a good place for policy. Daly again. Doesn't know if Fed's policy is restricted enough. Daly again. Outlook for economy is positive, but unclear if inflation will ebb as needed. It's pretty interesting how slowly they go with the propaganda. They just seed it out there, seed it out there, seed it out there. So because it's going to run away. They're going to lose control very soon. And when they do, they're going to say, well, we did talk about it here, here, and here, and we're doing our best to do it. Obviously, they're going to start up the money printing very soon. But to be able to put out this messaging, I don't think it's from a wandering mind or being unclear in their thoughts. So I believe they know exactly what they're doing. I believe they've read the books. Machiavelli, The Prince, is a good book for everyone there. It's not a Bitcoin book, but it's a pretty good book to be able to understand how these people operate and how they go on. Also, the book Propaganda is very, very interesting, written by like the uncle or the grandfather or someone related to the person that created Netflix as well, but he created propaganda and didn't create propaganda, but really using it within the political landscape. So both the book Propaganda and The Prince are good ones, and will give you a good understanding of what they're doing here as misleading and misdirecting people. Good video by Simply Bitcoin. I think we've got that at the end with Robin as well, same video. So we'll bring that up there. But Jerome Powell, what he had to say here was good. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Crypto Pride, Legacy TS Strategies, Lucky Redfish, everyone that is watching live, give us a thumbs up. Good morning and good to see you. Now, I don't like Powell, usually. And whoever posted this at the same time, Phil Geiger said the same thing. Did I just become a Jerome Powell fan? This is a pretty brilliant video that is going on. It's amazing. I'll play it for you. It's incredible. It's 45 seconds and it's right towards the end. He just owns them. Listen really closely towards the end of it.
Expect that the process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go. The labor market remains tight, although improvements in labor supply and a gradual easing in demand continue to move it into better balance. GDP growth in the third.
So these people you'll see, just watch behind them and then listen really closely.
Quarter was quite strong, but like most forecasters, we expect growth to moderate in coming quarters. Of course.
Jerome Powell, by refusing to treat climate change like a systemic
Okay,
risk,
thank you.
You are putting us at
Thank you very much.
Keep listening. Keep listening. G'day, Green Candle.
disaster.
Thank you very much.
Climate change will end in
Hey, wait up. I'll turn it up for everyone if I can find. Hopefully that does not blow your ears. I apologize. Let us know if it gets too loud, but don't miss us.
Thank you. Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Just close the fucking door. Just close the door. Do you want to replay it? How good is that?
Close the door.
A little bit before that.
Close the fucking door. Close the door.
What a goat, hey? Jerome Powell just telling them, just close the fucking door. Get these people out of my face. Pomp, love him or hate him, he is great marketing for Bitcoin as well. Very bullish when he is on the mainstream news. Understand he dabbles with alternative currencies, but let's jump into what he has to say here.
I love the volatility. I want more volatility. And the reason is because volatility over a long period of time actually leads to outside.
One of the things I've been saying is Bitcoin will go up, down, and sideways. It is very volatile, but it's not risky. So make the most of that. For me, the way I train myself is I'd buy on the red days, I'd chill on the green days, but it's about to get hectic. We've gone up like 10 grand in the last 30 days. Imagine when that happens just in one day, which is going to happen in my opinion. That's volatility.
Returns. If you want asymmetry, which has largely been kind of arbed out of the market in most other assets, there's no volatility in these other assets. There's no outperformance in these other assets. Bitcoin allows for investors to allocate capital to an investment that they can audit at any time, that they can put billions of dollars into, and it can drive asymmetric returns. And that's what we've seen. This thing has compounded at tens of % a year for over a decade. Right now, in the last
It's compounded at tens of % per year for over a
3
decade.
months, 88% of all Bitcoin in circulation has not moved. In the last year, more than 70% of Bitcoin has not moved. They're going to approve this ETF. We're going to return to loose monetary policy. We're going to get the halving next year, and this thing is going to fly just like it did back in 2021.
Along with the FASB accounting measures, everything that is going on, BlackRock is really going to heat up. I am disappointed that the ETH ETF has been filed, because then money will split between it. It is what it is. Is it true, or did you get me again? Haven Pick, is it true, or did you get me again? Let us know what you're referring to. If you need a store on steel, Cedar.io is a great option. All single grade stainless steel. Otherwise, go onto Amazon. I think this is about $6 or $7. And you can use that. Obviously, you need to buy a punch set, which adds up, and then get a really heavy hammer. And the only thing when you're using something like this or whatever, as long as it's not steel, is to make sure it's legible and you can see it. Otherwise, probably the best option on the market, in my opinion, is the Cedar. Here, if you need help, collaborative custody, Bitcoin advisor can help you with that. Bitcoin estate planning, Bitcoin education, buying your devices through coinstop.io. The person that created Coinstop is the person that's organizing Bitcoin Alive. Chris, in the middle of editing a podcast I did with him, and there's some articles there for you as well if you need some information, education. Obviously, Peter Dunworth has been on the channel there, as well as Andy. Now, thank you very much, Simply Bitcoin, for posting this here.
Shouldn't be established. Establishing could mean, though.
Warren Davidson, can you just let me know what you think of him? Like, from the outside looking in, all the videos that have played of him have been absolutely incredible. So I'd like to know what you think of him. I like him from the outside, on the other side of the world. Not that it really affects me, but so far, I think so good.
So that it has already been created, waiting in the wings just in case we need it. So for Star Wars fans, imagine if we let the Empire build the Death Star, as long as they promise not to turn it on. Let's not do that. Let's not build the darn thing in the first place. We shouldn't design it or develop it, and it shouldn't exist. So that's the point of this amendment.
So we've got Representative Warren Davidson talking about getting rid of CBDCs. He's trying to stop CBDCs from happening. We've got Larry Fink calling Bitcoin a flight to quality, as well as hope there. It's really interesting how it's been implemented absolutely everywhere. It's been implemented everywhere. And there's two options. You can have exposure to Bitcoin through the ETF, and that'll work out really well. But the people that it's really going to benefit are the people that are holding their own Bitcoin. So what boat are you in? Are you holding your Bitcoin and the keys for your Bitcoin? Or are you just waiting here on the sidelines, waiting for the ETF? I reckon 99% of people are holding their keys. Hopefully you did manage to stack, because time is running out. If we have a look here, market cap 1.47 trillion, closing in on the 1.5 trillion, and then we are looking for a double there to get back above the 3 trillion mark. Just a matter of when, not if, in my opinion. Bitcoin trading at 37,152. Couple of things that I want to show here, pretty much sideways in the last 24 hours, hanging around that 37. It did get as low as 36,821 with a high of 37,217. In the last 7 days, this is the chart that I want to bring up. Just in the last week, it's up 3,200 odd dollars, a low of 34,609 and a high of 37,883. It is pretty amazing what can happen in a day, a week, a month. And then if we go out to 30 days, it's a $10,000 change here from under 26,000 to over 37, 11,000. So that is going to start happening in a single day, in my opinion. Obviously, from the things that we covered here, Larry Fink going into it, just they're really going to start pumping it. It's not just Larry Fink. There's Fidelity, Van Eck, everyone else. The US outlook, it's not looking good. So you do you, I'll do me. Earlier, the reason I saved this chart is we'll hit refresh, and obviously I got confirmation bias. Like Bitcoin was green and then everything else was red. It looks simply better. But even here, what you can see is Ethereum is down 10 times the amount that Bitcoin is down. Should be down 100, but it is what it is. So both Robin and Simply Bitcoin posted this video here. This is pretty interesting. And it's obviously voiced over, dubbed, unless it's the lady's actual language. But German member for parliament criticised the CBDCs in Bundestag while sporting a Bitcoin t-shirt. Look really closely. It's pretty incredible.
For your speech. Madam President, dear colleagues, nobody needs the...
I'll play the other one. It's got subtitles on it. That's probably why I brought it back up. Yeah, here we go.
Whoever is tired of fiat money and is interested in sound money has Bitcoins in...
Whoever is tired of fiat money and has sound money has Bitcoins in his wallet. This lady's a goat already. She's wearing the Hope shirt right there. I should have worn that this morning. FOMO21, use promo code G'DAY, 10% off there. I reached out to him really quickly. We'll jump into that video. I reached out to FOMO21 because I love their shirts. This is the evolution of money. And I wanted a promo code for you. So I got it. I didn't want anything back. I get 10%. You get 10% off. I didn't get anything. And they launched an affiliate program. So it's exactly the same code. You get 10% off and I get 10% back now. But incredible. I'm saying it because I wear it every single day. And I wear the hat when I'm outside as well. So I'm always in some type of FOMO 21.
No one needs the digital euro except for the ECB and politicians with a different agenda, namely the total surveillance of citizens? I know.
If anyone can get me in contact with this lady to have her on, that would be absolutely incredible. We'll reach out.
Much is promised, data protection, everything secure. No one intends to spy on anyone. This is as credible as the promises made during the euro introduction: no bailout 3% rule, prohibition of monetary state financing. Now the ECB does nothing else, and the Maastricht Treaty is waste paper.
So people come back and say this lady was talking to an empty room. I don't care. This has been broadcast live. And just to be able to have the opportunity to be able to come up in the mainstream, absolutely fantastic. It's happening more and more and more, obviously, with Warren Davidson, Larry Fink. Now Larry Fink has given it the all clear. There is no stopping Bitcoin.
Today, the ECB promises top data protection for the digital euro, and tomorrow every transaction will be monitored, citizen fully transparent. In China, people are controlled with digital central bank money. Those who comply.
That Chinese narrative as well is really starting to heat up. And one thing I want to say is everyone around the world, there's one race, and that's the human race. So it's not us versus them. It's the political party that is bad. It's not the people. People are just people. We're just all human. It can be the political party, and whether they're under a dictatorship or whatever it is that we can disagree with, I think that's fair to be able to have discord. But everything that's going on around the world with all these proxy wars and stuff, just a little bit of compassion. Everyone is just doing the best with the information that they have. Anyway, that's my PSA today. We'll finish this one.
With the state have access to money. Those who don't do that, unfortunately, had bad luck. Social scoring is what it's called, with the digital euro easily possible, like state control. Book another flight, CO2 budget depleted, donating to inconvenient orgs. Impossible. Dining out unvaccinated in a pandemic, the funds will not be released. A digital nightmare. And that is the reason why we do not require a binding vote on how. Don't need the full digital euro. That's what the federal government must aim for. Thank you so much.
What a goat. What an incredible lady. So well articulated. And the Deutsche Bundestag, absolutely amazing. Joanna, hats off to you, lady. Absolutely fantastic. Such a strong woman going out there and providing hope for people. She is wearing that hope and putting the signal out there. Haven Pack was stationed in Italy when they were forced onto the euro. They lost like half their value of their life overnight. I told them if they did that in America, we would burn every bank to the ground. Crazy, hey? And obviously just getting back from the States, I believe it's good that people have the right to bear arms, and it gives you that protection to be able to do it. Maybe we can remove semi-automatics from the equation there, but you know, that's just my opinion. But my strong belief is you should be able to have access to munitions. In Australia, they've all been taken away. We also have very low gun violence as well. So it's sort of like a catch-22. But the French, they're very good at revolting against what their masters have to say. And I reckon in the States they are as well. Very polarised, though. Some of the cities were really heartbreaking with what we had to see. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. Was it Edison or Henry Ford? I'm probably butchering it here, but when they said if the citizens understood like how the money operated, there'd be revolution overnight. Anyway, hit subscribe if we vibe. We'll see you on the next video. Be blessed. Peace.